So we had this process of trying to figure out what it was that the client truly in their heart of hearts wanted to accomplish.
Yeah.
And then once we knew that, then we would go about the idea of showing them how our product did what they wanted to do. How you can be the greatest salesperson on the planet.
Welcome to the Rethink Sales Show. My name is Derek Kelly. I am joined by Jim Shorkey. And Jim, something I love in the sales world and the marketing world, because that's what I do. I've spent the past 10 years of my life helping people be clear on their audience and their message so they can move toward their goals. So how have you seen audience, knowing who your client is, knowing who your customer is, and clear messaging? How have you seen that help your sales process and just build those long-term relationships that you desire?
For us, it's a little different. We were dealing with a mass marketing type of a thing, radio, newspaper, TV, this kind of a thing. And the idea was what a great day was a big part of it. And we really believe that. I believe it, live that. What a great day. It's a great day. It really is a great day. I was out there today walking, getting some sun on my head and face and all that, and doing some exercise for my stroke recovery and whatnot. And it was just great to be out there. And it's great to be here with you right now. What a great day. This is great.
Yeah.
So that was a really important part of our message. And the idea being, if you're going to say that, you got to deliver on it. So our idea was to make it a great day. That said, we would figure out from an internal perspective, what was the deal? We had this many of a certain vehicle, or that many, and there was a big rebate or a big deal. What was the deal that we were promoting? So we would create the deal. It wasn't about knowing the audience. It was about knowing the deal, knowing the people. I'm sorry, the vehicles. And so we put this deal together, figuring, and my idea was, and I think the Pittsburgh Metro is, if I'm not mistaken, meaning including North Huntington and McKeesport and Irwin and all the different areas around here. About 3 million people, I think, is what it was, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that. So if I'm wrong, don't shoot me. But it was a significant number. And I always felt, okay, if I've got 100 of this kind of a vehicle, I got to be able to sell 100 in Pittsburgh. And so I would put together this kind of a package of here's what it has, here's what it is, here's how that applies to you. And I would put it out there, and then the people would come. And so we had people coming into the showroom, and then our job at that point was to get to know the customer as best as we possibly could in terms of their wants and needs. And so we had an interview process that we did to bring that out. You know, what really is most important to you in terms of your car experience and why? And so it's more involved than that, but I'll just be brief.
Sure.
So we had this process of trying to figure out what it was that the client truly in their heart of hearts wanted to accomplish.
Yeah.
And then once we knew that, then we would go about the idea of showing them how our product did what they wanted to do. That truck that we're advertising does hit all the bases. Let me show you how. And so once we got that established, that it did what they wanted to do,
delivered on a promise.
were we establishing value in the customer's mind? And so the idea is to bring as much value as we possibly can to the customer in terms of what we're offering. And then that's going to cost a certain amount of money to do that to the customer. But at the end of the day, if the value is high enough in your mind as a consumer, the value is high enough, what happens to the price?
Price becomes way less relevant.
It does. It really does. So our objective was not so much to work on counting price, but our objective was to improve the value. To increase the value in the customer's mind. And if we could ask the right questions, we could, in fact, accomplish that.
That's so profound, Jim, because they always say, stop selling on price, sell on value.
Absolutely. That's my mantra, so to speak.
What do you think the difference is there?
The difference is that if it was really all about price, if that were true, they don't need us.
Yeah.
Because all you got to do is put the price out there and people come by because it's all about price. I used to say this to my people all the time, price doesn't sell cars. People will try to convince, price sells cars. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Salespeople sell cars. And they sell cars by bringing as much value on the table, having that value exceed the price. And so if it's a $10,000 car and in the customer's mind the value is $9,000, that's not a good deal. If the price of the car is $20,000 and the value that's on the table right now is $25,000, wow, why so cheap? All this value for only $20,000? You see the difference. One was $10,000, not too much value. The other's 20,000. Holy cow. This is a steal. So it's not a question, and it's not a question of games and mirrors and trickery.
Right.
This car really does have this feature. This truck really does have this idea. And it really is valuable. You said it was. You said you cared about safety because of your children. You said that. Here's how this vehicle is safer than anything that we're aware of. It has this and this and this and this and this and this. Oh, I'm not done yet. It's got 10 more. How?
Right.
All that?
Yeah.
So we're going to create value by just showing you what the vehicle is going to do for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
And I don't think that's new.
Yeah.
I really don't.
No.
We talk about like Amazon. Amazon is people tend to think of Amazon as being a price thing. It's not. Amazon is incredible. Their level of service is off the charts.
You can return something just because you don't.
Off the charts.
Yeah.
Excuse me. They don't even ask questions. The things they do, the offerings that they have. And now it's got to the point where you can order something this morning and get it this afternoon.
I know. That's great.
It's what?
Yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah. And it makes it hard to shop somewhere else sometimes because I can get that tomorrow. I can wait 7 days.
Whose fault's that?
Somewhere else.
Like the local business people, in many cases, would complain about things like Amazon.
Yes.
Wait a second. What are you doing to improve your service? What are you doing to compete with these guys? What can you do better?
Yeah.
That's what I would do. What can I do to compete with Amazon? Like, they're too big. No, they're not. You can ship stuff.
Yeah.
You can sell stuff online.
Right.
You can do all kinds of things to make it better. Things get better when Jim Shorkey gets better. Things get better when Jim Shorkey gets better. I'm into my 100% stroke recovery process.
Yes.
Things get better when I get better. My brain gets better when I do things to make my brain better. And I am.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah. And I can just hear you talk about how that value is given, right? It's if we chase price, we chase a price to the bottom, right? It's who can be the cheapest.
You can't price it low enough. Right? You just can't. You just can't. The fact is the customer doesn't want your vehicle. You can't make it cheap enough. You really can't. Right. And if you do, okay, you'll get a sell here and there. Okay, I get that. But you're going to sell yourself bankrupt.
Yeah.
You have to be able to sell your vehicles in our business, the vehicles, okay, or whatever it is you're selling at a reasonable price where you're making a profit. And if you don't do that, you're not going to be there.
Right.
You're not going to make it.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to hold a reasonable profit margin, and rather than cut it, let's increase the value.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
And you could hear the testimony. We did that throwback video from 2010, one of our most watched videos. And you could just hear from the customers, wow, I've bought 5 cars from the Shorkey family. And it wasn't, I bought 5 cars from the Jim Shorkey family auto group. It was the Shorkey family. Like people felt connected.
That's the culture. That's the culture of the Jim Shorkey family auto group. And it's all about the experience. What can we do to make the experience better for our clients? What can we do to make the experience better for our team? And if I'm right, if things really do get better when I get better, what happens when I go to work on the customer experience in terms of making it better? And what happens when I go to work on the team experience as far as making it better? That's what I do. That's what I believe. That's what I did. That's what I will always do. I'm not involved anymore. I'm not. And so I don't get involved because I know I tend to be overwhelming and I tend to take charge. And it's like they have their ideas and they need to do their ideas. And their ideas are very valid. They've done very well without me. But the bottom line is I'm going to keep working on making Jim Shorkey a better person. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like intuitively that when I do that, that I'm going to live longer. I'm going to live happier. I'm going to live healthier. I just think the whole thing is going to be really cool. And then I'm going to show people how I did it. So you're having the opportunity today to witness my approach to 100% stroke recovery. And I know you didn't have a stroke. Okay, I understand that. And you say, well, what's that got to do with me? It's got everything to do with you because the things that I'm doing to recover from my stroke are the same things that I did for my contribution to the Jim Shorkey Family Auto Group. And so if I wanted to improve my marriage, which I do, It's always a good thing, right?
Yeah.
I have a great marriage. I've been married for 45 years.
Yeah.
This year, 45 years.
Wow.
And I love my wife, and we just have a great time. But can I make my marriage better? And if I make my marriage better, is that a good thing?
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So what can we do to make Rethink You better? What can we do to make Results from Thinking better? What can we do to make this podcast better? It's not where I want it to be. Only because I know in my heart of hearts that there is a better way out there. I'm happy with where it is. I'm happy with where we're at right now. I'm very happy.
Yes.
But I'm not going to give up on the constant and never-ending improvement,
That's right.
which is a Japanese idea. And I believe, don't throw any arrows at me. I believe it's called Kaizen, Kaizon, I think. And it's constant and never-ending improvement. And that is their mantra and their culture. They really are serious about that.
Yeah.
What can we do to make the process better? You talked about that with the TVs. That's the Japanese mentality. And that's my mentality.
Yeah.
So I believe, I'm sorry, I don't believe, excuse me. I know that we can make this better.
Yes.
I just know we can.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind because I've seen it too many times where you think, oh, I've capped out. And then you go to work and it's, you know what? I didn't cap out. I was wrong. It is better. And when it gets better, the results get better.
That's
and
right.
the name of our company is Results from Thinking. And the idea behind it is results are the name of the game. And the fundamental underlying theme to what we're doing right now today is things get better when I get better. I can't wait for Derek to get better. Hopefully he's going to follow along with that same mentality.
Absolutely.
But things get better when I get better. That's all I can do. And try to be an inspiration to Derek. And I think the best way I can be an inspiration as a leader is by doing it.
Yes.
So I need to be a product of this product called Rethink You 2.0. I need to become a product of that product.
Yes.
What am I doing?
Becoming a product of that product.
I am. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. And I can prove it. You can bring that whole training manual right now and say, okay, Jim, what about this? Done. What about that? Done. What about, I designed the program. I wrote the program based on with interviewing with Chuck Polina and we sat down for hours upon hours and we talked about how I did what I did in the Jim Shorkey Family Auto Group. Yeah. And so we came up with this idea called the Success Blueprint, also the Journey to Success. And then Derek took that ball and ran with it and rewrote it into more of a consistency. And so it's the real deal. If you want to figure out how the Jim Shorkey Family Auto Group became what it is today, there you go. But also look at this body here. I know it seems hard to believe. You probably doubt me. 1 year ago, I had a hemorrhagic stroke, 3 brain bleeds, should have died. Didn't. And here I am today with this mission, more determined than ever. Yeah. And the mission is helping me to recover from my stroke because I'm using this cat right here, right now, which is where the damage was. Yeah. 3 brain bleeds. Yeah. Not good.
And that's our goal, is to really provide. We started this conversation talking about value, or how do you bring value to your audience through your messaging. And that's what we're doing here, is we want to provide content that's valuable to you. And every month we see more people excited about Rethink You, about Rethink Sales.
And that excites me too. Right? You can't imagine. It's so thrilling and so much joy. If we get one person today, that's a major victory for us. Yeah. But if it's 10 times the victory, and if it's 100, it's 100 times the victory. There's no limit to this. Yeah. If it's 1 million, oh my goodness gracious, I would be overwhelmed by that. I'll get together I'll run into different people and whatnot, and they say, Jim, boy, my life changed the day I met you. Yeah. And you gave me these ideas and I put them into play. And boy, look at me today. And I got this and that and this and that. And we go through the whole list and it's like, it makes me cry. Yeah. I said, man, I can't believe that. That's congratulations. Good for you. And they did the work. I gave the advice. They did the work. I know that. But it's very gratifying to get that kind of credit. Yeah. And I could honestly, sincerely go to Mr. Hamilton. I can't because he died. But I would, if I had the opportunity, I would go to Mr. Hamilton today and I'd say, Mr. Hamilton, can I shake your hand? Yeah. Because you really helped me. You really helped me. You gave me that list and I did it. And I kept adding to it based on your tutelage. And wow, what I am today is because of you. It's because of you. I want to be that guy. Yeah. I want to be that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. And when I ask people, I talk to people all the time that have gone through the program, I'm often asking them what they can do to help get into the hands of more people. But I often say, what is the most impactful thing? You know what they say? I always thought it would be the disciplined journaling or The Personal Declaration of Independence. These are all pieces of the program. Or the creative cycle. You know what it is? And it makes so much sense when they say it, but over and over again, it's the same thing. It is thinking it through the whole way through.
Yeah, it is.
And often people, they'll say to me, I was talking to a guy the other day, and they'll say, I never sat down and took the time to think it through the whole way through.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's so many pieces on top of that. But until you do that first step, the rest of it doesn't matter.
But you heard me do it. I just did it today. What did I tell you? I have this mathematical mind that says 30 years from now, or 20 years from now, I guess, maybe better, around there, 20 years from now, there will be a great grandchild out there. And I want to hold that grandchild.
And I want to be present.
Is that emotional?
Yeah.
Is that thinking it through the whole way through?
But you don't just want to hold them. You want to be present. You want to be cognitively there.
I want to have my brain in good order. I want to be able to talk, communicate. I want to be able to physically move around. I would like to be able to take that baby for a walk. I've really thought this through.
Yeah.
I want to be at my grandchildren's different weddings.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to, I'm not a dancer. I'm not a dancer. I guess with the thing there, I should be, that's outside of my comfort zone. I should be out there dancing. I never was a dancer. But anyways, yeah. I want to be there, though. I want to be there. I want to experience that. I want to throw a few hugs around. And in order to do that, I have to do my work. And it's on the list. Yep. I have to do those things. And there's more coming. And I tell people all the time, I've actually posted this on Facebook a couple times, like, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah.
You ain't seen nothing yet. But you're getting an opportunity to witness the power of this program
right now. Yeah.
Through
that's
Jim
exactly what I was
Shorkey.
thinking. Yes.
And if you like, which maybe you had a stroke as well. Maybe you had a heart attack. Maybe you have some other kind of a malady that you're working through. I don't know. I don't know who I'm talking to right now. Maybe you want to improve certain relationships, or maybe you want to get better on the job. I was just talking to a young lady just now.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, talked about bringing more value to the hour. I said, what are you making? $12 an hour. I said, let's bring $15 worth of value. I said, you're good noticed.
Yeah.
I said, and don't be surprised when somebody offers you a job outside of the company because they're so impressed with what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so we had that conversation. And I think it's very real. And that may be foreign to you. Maybe you don't like that.
Right.
I do. If I'm getting paid $7 an hour to do a job, I'm not going to go around complaining about what I'm getting paid. I'm going to bring more value to the hour.
That's right.
And I will get noticed. And I will get a raise. Or I'll get a job. Somebody will get a better job. Might get promoted within the organization.
Right.
Somebody else will see what I'm doing. I'm telling you, people recognize value. And that's why we talk so much about value.
Right.
Because people see it and they recognize it.
Yeah.
You know?
And you've done such a good job. I remember I was talking so much about the to-do list probably 6 months ago. I was like, Jim, it's all about the list. It's all about the list. And you stopped me and you said, stop talking about the list. I was like, what do you mean stop talking about the list? Like, the list is crucial. And you said, until and have defined and continue to redefine your reason why.
Yeah, that's huge.
The list.
The list is just how you're going to get there.
Is a list.
The list is just how you're going to get there. But if the goal, Stephen Covey talked about that. He's talked about the ladder leaning against the building. And that ladder is the ladder of success. And so you climb the ladder and you climb and climb. It's difficult. You're sweating. It's really hard. You can only make it up a little bit each day. And so finally you get to the top of the ladder.
Yep.
And you're now on top of the building.
Yeah.
And you look out across the horizon and you come to realize that the ladder was leaning against the wrong building. You're on top of the wrong building. You didn't think it through the whole way through. Had you done that, you'd have looked up and said, you know what? I think I want to be against this building over here. Let's move the ladder. Yeah. And then let's climb.
Yeah.
Okay.
This gets me emotional because
it's very emotional.
Because we've helped a lot of people through our marketing business over the years. And I remember a guy who was in a similar position to you, and I wasn't as close relationally to him, but I remember we were helping him for months and months, and he stopped and he said to me, and I think he missed it. He said, it's lonely at the top, Derek. And I remember Brad and I were driving away. We were driving back into town. And I said, I think he missed it.
He did.
And Brad said, what do you think he missed? I said, it's only lonely at the top if you didn't build it the right way.
Yeah, and plus and this is intuition speaking, so I don't know. I don't know the fellow.
Sure.
I don't know his story, and we really should know the backstory before we call him.
Sure.
But let's assume,
Yeah.
just do some assuming here.
Yeah.
My suspicion would be he didn't really think it through the whole way through, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, his reasons why didn't make him cry.
Yeah.
And so we have a goal. I want to be a millionaire. Okay, why? Well, because I just think that's great, but why is that important to you? And we keep going through it,
Right.
and finally we figure out that it either does make them emotional.
Right.
If it doesn't, the millionaire thing is probably the wrong goal for that particular person.
Yeah.
And it's really important to think it through the whole way through. I've said this before, I'll say it again. When you and I pull up to the intersection today, and you're in the passenger seat and I'm in the driver's seat, we pull up the intersection, we got to make a choice between right and left. And I say, Derek, where do you want to go? He says, I have no idea. But guess what? Left or right doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We have to define that goal. And once we define the goal, Irwin, oh, okay, we're going to go right. Murraysville, oh, okay, we're going to go left.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, and this is a very simplistic goal, but
Yeah.
very clear, Napoleon Hill makes this very clear. If you read the chapter on desire, very clear. You've got to be crystal clear on your goal. You got to be able to write it out. You got to have pictures of it. You should be able to draw a picture of it. It's got to be very clear. My goal with respect to my granddaughter, is that crystal clear?
It's very
How much
clear.
more crystal clear could I make it?
I don't know. You know exactly what porch you want to be on with them.
Baby
like,
in the stroller.
What season you would prefer it to be.
I can see myself
like,
walking down the road. I can see the whole thing. And in order to do all those things, I have to do the list, right? So the list is really important, but it's the means to an end.
Yeah.
And if we can't define the end,
Right.
then the list becomes not even necessarily the right list.
Yeah.
The first step is to establish the goal and the reasons why. And then from there, we seek expert counsel to figure out, how do I get there? And that was the message I just told you. I was talking to a young lady just now, and that was the conversation we had. And I'm never going to have any conversation but that. Tell me your reason why.
Yeah.
And I have this conversation with a variety of people, and I'm very persistent, to say the least.
Yeah.
And
It's crucial.
I'll have them in tears.
Yeah.
Not because I want them to cry.
Yeah.
But I was talking to a good friend of mine the other day, and he says, and I said to him, I said, well, why is that? He's like, blah, 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 blah. Why is that important to you? Blah, 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 blah. Why does that even matter? And damn you, Jim, you got me. You got me. I know I did. I can feel it.
Yeah.
I got you. I got you emotional. Now we have a goal.
Yeah.
I got you emotional. I got you emotional.
Yeah.
If the goal becomes I want to sell cars because I want to be the top salesman, that's an okay goal. I would say it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. But I want to sell cars because I want to take my kids to Disney World.
It's better.
Okay, that's better. Why is that? Oh, my youngest one has always wanted to do that. We never were able to make it happen.
Yeah,
and,
afford it or
and,
something.
And, whatever the case may be. And we start talking and we'd go a little deeper, thinking it through the whole way through, And we finally get at the root of why that's so important. And we find out that there's some detail that was not disclosed.
Yeah.
And that's why with your friend, I can't really comment because I don't know the backstory.
Yeah, and that
Until
story's
the backstory, you can't you don't know. You don't know.
Person lost everything.
Yeah, that's sad.
It all ended. I remember thinking, what happened here? And I realized the people around them weren't really that committed. And I thought, man, it's really important to
So
have
he should have been
people
working with
around
his
us.
people
Yeah.
rather than working on the goal. Things get better when I get better. Things get better when my people get better. So if you don't like, remember, results are the name of the game. If you don't like your results, let's look at what's producing those results and look at where we can make changes in terms of pivoting to improve.
Yeah.
And when I can tell you for a fact. But anyways, President Obama was president, and we were in the worst recession since the Great Depression.
Yeah.
It was that bad. And I came up with this idea. Initially, I called it the recessionary plan.
I remember this.
And I did. And I had this idea. And I had these thoughts that I wanted to bring into the business. And as I was doing, I thought, that's a bad message. The recession plan, depression, whatever.
Yeah.
I changed it to the prosperity plan.
Yeah.
And
That's
I said-
way better messaging.
I said, we're going to prosper during this thing. And here's how we're going to do it. And this is to a degree irrelevant to your purposes out there in the audience. But remember, I said results are the name of the game. Results are the name of the game. So we had the prosperity plan. We put it into play. We let people know very clearly that this is what we're going to do. And if you're not willing to do this, then you can't be here. We made it very clear.
Yeah.
And so we proceeded to execute this plan from a leadership perspective. We did it every day. And we made more money during the Great Recession than ever in the history of the Jim Shorkey Family Auto Group. If I'm not mistaken, I think we made more money in 1 year than all the other years combined. It was that successful. And what we did was we doubled down on what? Loving the customer, loving the team, keeping it very humble. We doubled, tripled down on that. And now how do we do that? And I can remember one simple thing. I said to my team, I said, I have a massive chill right now. Apologies. It gets me emotional. And that chill is emotion, by the way. And I remember saying this to my team. I said, if somebody comes in and they have a dent in their car that we didn't cause, and they want us to fix it, I said, you fix that dent. And that sounds goofy, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. You fix that dent. Let's make an impression. And so we did. Wow. We fixed the dent. Yeah. And we took care of the customers, and we just provided them with so much service that it worked.
Yeah. And you can hear it during that prosperity plan. You knew who your audience was, your team, and you knew what you had to, you knew the plan you had to give them to succeed.
And interestingly enough, people think of a recession as being, called a zero-sum game. There's no sales. No, none, zero. Nobody's buying cars anywhere. Yeah. Not true. During the recession was 12 million. 12 million.
Yeah, that's still a lot of cars.
You can focus on the 4 million that we lost, or wait a second, there's 12 million people out there. I can remember having meetings after playing my Rocky music. I would say, tell my team, ladies and gentlemen, I want my fair share. I want some of his, some of hers, some of his. We're going to conquest the market. We're taking share from other people. We're taking share, and we did. And we were successful. Yeah. So don't tell me you can't sell cars during a recession. It's just not true. If it goes to zero, you can't sell cars during a recession. Yeah. We sold cars during COVID. We sold cars before COVID, after COVID. And guess what we also did at times? We didn't sell cars. Yeah. We were unsuccessful. Right. And the reason we were unsuccessful is because we didn't have our act together. Yeah. And what was the answer? To play the blame game, the victim game? No. The answer was, let's go to work on ourselves. Yeah. Things get better when we get better. Yeah. Results are the name of the game. The results are nothing more than information. If you have bad results, it's pretty strong indication from an information perspective that you're doing something wrong. Yeah. Let's think it through the whole way through, figure out what those things are that we're doing wrong, and let's get them fixed. Yeah. Let's get them fixed. Yeah. And we will improve because things get better when we get better.
Yeah. Jim, thank you for sharing, just taking my question about audience and messaging,
turning
it on its head and really getting into values, right? What are your values and how does that affect not just your personal life goals, but your business goals and how those things combine together to actually sell better and serve more people. Thank you.
Yeah, you will do this stuff or you can't be part of the Jim Shorkey Family Auto Group. And it's interesting to me, at least, that the prosperity plan, which was from 2018, guess what? This is 2024. They still use it to this day. Wow. It's so full of pragmatic advice. Yeah. So full of pragmatic advice. Yeah. And it applies to today. Yeah. It does.
Yeah. Jim, thank you.
My pleasure.
And guys, again, thank you. Feel free to like and subscribe. Again, the like button allows the algorithm on YouTube, if you're watching on there, for more people to find this content and one more person to be helped. And subscribing lets you know when our next video comes out.